former Deputy Assistant Secretary of Defense for Intelligence, Christopher Mellon. It's good to see you. Thank you for joining us.
Pleasure to be here. Thank you.
And feel free, as always, to push back on whatever doesn't go with your reckoning. And I'll start with a point of potential cynicism, or at least skepticism. I think not demanding that NASA be there, not demanding that more big shots from these different departments and programs be there or be held to account for why they won't come should have been a focus. And we're setting ourselves up for disappointment with these hearings. What's your take?
I think there's time to get to that. This is a process. The objective here, I think, and the opportunity is for the American people to come to better understand why it is that so many in Congress actually take seriously the idea that there are UFOs, UAP, that are violating U.S. airspace, and the associated rumor, allegation that we may have in our possession off-world technology recovered from someone else's space program. And those are things that are hard for people to get their minds around. And I think this hearing is an opportunity for the public to hear from naval aviators who are utterly credible, responsible people, to understand what they're experiencing, what they're encountering in the field. And this is happening on a widespread basis. There are hundreds and hundreds of these incidents going on. Dave Grush will also then separately address the recovery issue.
First of all right, let's deal with Grush. Do you think he can name names and say more than he has said publicly before? Do you think any of these guys who are testifying can say more than they already have? I mean, that would kind of be the starting line of these hearings being progress.
I expect Dave will provide some new information that we have not heard before. And Dave has provided specific leads and information and names to the Intelligence Community Inspector General. So Congress needs to get that information from the Inspector General. There are some limits to what he can say by law in open session in terms of identifying other personnel in the intelligence community. He's under a lot of restrictions and oaths, and the laws are very severe. The penalties are very severe if you cross those red lines. So he has to be careful, but he's very forward-leaning. I think he will provide new information the public has not heard before. And I think Ryan and Dave Fravor, Commander Fravor, will also help people better understand and appreciate the degree to which this is going on, and the really fundamentally stunning nature of the technology and capability of these vehicles.
So what do you believe that we're dealing with? That they know about equipment and technology from other countries that they have kept secret? Or do you believe that there is any chance that the American government has knowledge of things they believe are not from Earth, and they've kept it from the American people?
I've been told that that is the case by several Defense Department officials. I've been
that
told
it's not from this Earth, or they don't know from where it's from on this Earth?
I've been told that we have recovered technology that did not originate on this Earth by officials in the Department of Defense and by former intelligence officials. I've referred some of those officials to the office that's undertaking this investigation. Dave is another one of those individuals. He's decided to go public with his information. So there are credible people, and we have a direct conflict here between what Dr. Kirkpatrick is saying and what these other folks are saying, and Congress is in the middle, and they got to sort it out.
But here's the problem, okay? Now I think you're going to be with me. It is mind-blowing that, not that they would know something like that, but not say anything. I think that would be so reprehensible. It would be such gross malfeasance. I don't care what the law allows in terms of discretion or privacy. To not tell people like that could be such a force for positive change and perspective would be unforgivable. These guys are never going to tell on themselves. You can't expect anybody to come forward from these agencies unless you're going to get like the Secretary of Defense and be like, listen, brother, you know, and now you're going to tell us, or you're not going to be the Secretary of Defense anymore. Doesn't this have to be done by Congress, or, God forbid, doesn't this have to be done by some external body, not themselves? Isn't it an obvious determination that they're going to come up saying, yeah, you don't need to know?
Chris. Absolutely agree. This is one of the problems. So this office that is leading the investigation was originally created to organize the collection of information about UAPs and orchestrate a coherent, rational inquiry on the part of the government, not this issue about recovered technology. They added that on later, and now there's a problem because there's an inherent conflict of interest. This is like asking the Reagan administration to investigate the Iran-Contra affair. I think that office can serve a very important purpose in terms of investigating, getting the agencies to share information, collating it, developing collection strategies. When you're talking about investigating this allegation of recovered materials, that's a different matter. And I think Congress has to drive that investigation itself.
I mean, I just think it would be an unforgivable point of discretion for them to not let the American people know something as profound in its implication as the idea that we're not alone. And I'll tell you, it's not that far removed from the idea of, we found a lot of things in technology that that people have, countries have, that is really staggering. And we just haven't told you because we're reverse engineering it and using it for our own purposes. The us and them that we're always seeding in this country culturally, that's an us and them. If you have people who are making those determinations and the American people aren't aware, I think it's a problem. But I know this going into it. Thank you for agitating. I know that you get a ton of shite for what you want to do. And people come after you for being a distraction or for being un-American. I think you're the opposite of both of those things. You're pushing for transparency and you're doing it for the right reasons. I just hope Congress can pick up the ball and carry it effectively.
Congress can do more and better on this. They've done a great job. It's amazing to some degree how far we've come in just a few years.
Right.
But they need to take names. I think they need to call some people in and put them under oath. I think they need to get information from the Inspector General. And if they follow down that path, they will get to the bottom of this. But it is an unprecedented challenge. And we have a very complex legal oversight architecture in terms of security stuff. It's conceivable, for example, that Congress has already been lawfully informed, but Representative Burchett and others don't know because legally the administration can notify a very small number of people and say it's checked the box. So there's also a problem with Department of Energy black programs. They get no oversight from Congress, in essence. So there's a lot of work
there are
to
a lot
be done.
of there really is. And look, no matter what the reality is about what they have or don't have, we've got to do better in reshaping the way our institutions work to be more transparent with the people who give them the power in the first place. And that's what I think you're doing at a minimum. So, Chris Mellon, thank you. Let's see where we go Wednesday and, more importantly, where we go after. I'll be back in touch.
My pleasure. Thank you.